Welcome back to Imperfect Parenting.
You almost said the wrong one, didn't you?
No, I was thinking about it. I was going to say intentional, imperfect, coffee kids and crazy. We are no longer coffee kids and crazy.
We haven't been for a long time
for
now.
many months now.
Yep.
Welcome back, Seth.
It's good to be back.
I say it every time, but
I know.
it's just special.
Once a month I'm
Being
here, and the rest of the time, it's you guys.
It's just us.
Yeah, last month we talked about raising young men.
Mm-hmm.
Ben and I
go.
talked a bit. You talked a bit. It was really good.
Yeah. I mean, what I don't have that you guys have in the men's group is you have the little men's group.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a ladies group. I feel like I kind of unofficially have one, but I don't necessarily have. Well, it's not true. I did join.
I was going to say,
This is new.
this is happening.
It's new to this year.
What is this? What do you got?
It's not a men's group.
It's not a men's group, but
Book club?
No, it's not a book club.
Keep guessing. This is
Guns
funny.
and Cigars Club?
Guns and Roses.
Guns and Roses?
That's what we're doing. No, it is really finding ladies that are leading apostolically in different one of the 7 mountains, one way or another. So my mom started this group, and she's the one kind of bringing people in. It was another friend of ours started something similar, and so this is kind of an offshoot of that. But it's different. It's different than what your guys group is, but same heart.
Some pretty powerhouse women, too,
Yeah,
in these groups.
And the fun thing is they are all apostolic leaders in either the church mountain, the
Business.
I'm family mountain. That's that's what I represent. Entertainment industry, business. I mean, that we're just really chasing after different things there, and so it's
Bringing heaven to earth.
it's already been really fun, but it's new. You guys have a bit more momentum than I do on this, but I'm excited to have that. So,
Well, there might be a spot to even share a little bit more about that and what it's providing for you as a female leader and then leading our girls from that place. But before we get there,
We have to
we cannot miss
talk
this
about our
opportunity.
meme.
no, and it feels like a dad meme
Yes.
for the girls. by
Yeah,
far.
this is a Ben meme.
So this is Will Ferrell. This picture, if you haven't seen it yet, go find this one. He's got this crazy look on his face. I
it's
think this is
great.
Ron Burgundy, one of his characters. I don't
Is
know.
that Anchorman? I've never actually seen that movie, but I know he's in it.
We talk about a lot of movies on here, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Well, we're
still
trying to
learning.
give
They get
context
the-
for where it came from.
They pull a lot of memes from movies. So
That's
it
Naturally,
it's
because the
helpful.
faces they make,
Yeah.
like this one.
It's a very stern face.
So very
like-
stern face with the very thick mustache and curly
Very
hair.
thick.
Looking at
down.
his daughter is the assumption we're making here. There's no daughter in the picture. But it says this. My daughter can have 3 male friends. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
That's it. Dads love their daughters
Yes,
and want to protect
deeply.
them.
I saw another meme that looked like a girl's first day of high school or something like that, and she had a photo of her father on it, and her father was standing next to him. He looks like this big bodybuilder, and it says, just in case you get any ideas, this is what my dad looks like. That's what it said on
Yes.
her shirt.
That's awesome.
And it's kind of funny.
My girls would come home just throughout the years and say something to the effect of, this boy wants my number, or I think he's going to ask for my number. And I've told them for years now, if anyone asks for your number, just give them my number. Don't even tell them. Just say, or tell them, it's my dad's number. You have to call him first.
Yeah.
And it's a great deterrent. Or it requires a young man to push in a little bit deeper if he really wants to
Yeah.
pursue my little girl.
There's a guy that you and I both follow. I'm blanking on his name right now. We both really like him. We've kind of noticed the last couple of days, like, ooh, this guy's great. He was talking about that one time on social media, and he was saying, like, yeah, you need to call my dad. But he said the powerful thing, which I think your daughters have, is when you're so connected to your daughter that she wants them
Yes.
to call you. She wants them to talk to you. She wants your approval of who's going to pursue her and who's going to talk to her. And I was like, dude, that guy's on it.
That's
That's
awesome.
exactly it. Where it's like,
Yeah.
your daughter, you're not forcing
No.
her to go, they have to
You
call
must.
me. She's actually going, oh, you want them to call you first? Do you want to talk to them first? I'm down with that.
This
I'm
is
good
the guy
with
to
that.
talk to.
Yeah, this
'Cause
is the
that's
guy
my
to
daddy.
talk to. Yeah.
Which I think, I mean, the point that I have for watching my girls and being a woman is we're so designed to have covering. You know, we're so designed to want someone to be our protector, to be this place of we're desired, we're wanted, we're safe. That is in our makeup from the very beginning. That doesn't mean that we can't shoot guns or climb mountains or all the things that we can do. But there is this deep desire for us to have that question answered am I desirable? Am I wanted? And that comes out of a place of covering. Yeah. And if you're not married, as our young daughters aren't, they're going to first find it probably from their earthly father until they learn how to have a relationship with their heavenly father. Obviously they'll have that when they come out, but they don't know how to nurture it. And that's so much of what the role of a father does for a young girl, is display who the father is so they can go to the father and develop an intimate relationship with him. And in this season of watching our girls grow up, Ben's doing a great job of being a dad. And
sorry, my ears just got quiet for a second there.
Yes. Ben's
What'd she
doing
say?
a fabulous
You're doing
job.
an amazing job
thank
of
you.
being
There we go.
being a daddy.
dad.
Keep it up. I'm just a words guy, so it's good
Yes,
to hear.
you are.
We'll hit you from both directions.
Okay, thank you. All right, keep going.
And I think what I love watching you do is right now, both our girls are in the season where they are in their own boat with their relationship with the Lord. They're one's more out in the ocean taking practice trips, and the other one's still kind of in the bay. But Ben is just sharpening their ability to find true identity in him. So when those moments come of the boy asks for my phone number, which we had this funny story. Delaney's walked through this a few times, and she has her own story and victories, but she had a moment. She gave her phone number or the phone number of her dad to this boy and all these things. Fast forward, Adeline's in the same situation and doesn't really know what to do, but she's enjoying the feeling pursued, the attention, all the things that you want them to enjoy. You just need to have the right.
Do it well.
Yeah, manage it well and put it in the right context. But she went to her older sister and said, "What do I do?" And she's like, "Oh, you give him Dad's number."
This is what we do in this
It was
house.
so
That's
great.
what we do.
That was a win.
We give him Dad's number. Tell him he can call your dad. It just was fun to see how that was stewarded and really just
Good job, girls.
what they've done with it. So it is interesting to watch girls that have true identity from the father and girls that are still looking, and the difference in how they carry themselves. And it is, and then what happens from there, just like we talked about before, boys that have, value for who they are and what they carry and what their assignment is versus not. And how dangerous it can be when those things get matched up. We have young boys, so we haven't really gotten into the throes of dating and respecting girls and all that stuff that's going to come. But our girls are in that wave of, I think that they've both encountered in different ways how quickly they can become sexualized by boys, which is a crazy thing, just in the age that they're in, and then what they choose to do with that and how they choose to handle all those things that come at them as young women, and knowing what's the right thing to do, and really how to protect themselves from falling into a trap of, oh, this is what I'm supposed to want, so should I give it to you?
Yeah.
I don't know if I should give it to you or not. But
I think speaking from the perspective of a father, which I have, is I'm sitting there thinking about my first date with Delaney, and she was 5,
6 or
maybe
something.
5 or 6.
Yeah.
And I have a picture somewhere. It's just, she's adorable, little girl holding a little cup of hot chocolate, and we're walking, holding hands somewhere, and it's our first date. And I won't get emotional right now, though I can feel it on the inside trying to come out. But to fast forward, there's just been these little moments throughout our time together. And she's our oldest, so it's with both of them, but she's the practice one. And I think about fast forwarding to this moment that was pivotal for me as a father, that really came from, we've talked about these books multiple times, but Meg Meeker, if you haven't read them yet, and you've been listening to this podcast this whole time, go get the books.
We've talked about them over and over.
Yeah. Strong Fathers, Strong Daughters, Strong Mothers, Strong Sons. Dr. Meg Meeker. But the piece in that book that I probably said multiple times here is that one of the biggest questions that our girls need us to answer as dads is, will you fight for me? Am I worth you fighting for me? And who I am, my identity, and my security. And I think there's this moment where, we progress through all these dates, me pursuing my girl, and then we end up at the school dance in 9th grade.
Yeah.
And I was reading this book, actually sitting on the sidelines as she's out there trying to figure it out, and with some boy.
Dancing with some boy we didn't really love. I mean, we loved him in Jesus' name, but
Yeah,
we
really
did
like
really
him.
love him for her.
And so, my friend's dad's sitting right there, her friend's dad's sitting right there, and he had danced with his daughter a couple of times. So I thought, I should try that. Go dance with my girl at this teenage high school dance.
Wow.
Brave.
It was her first one,
Yeah.
too.
So I said, hey, honey, you want to dance with me? No.
She's
Then I thought, okay.
not having it.
I gave it a shot. So again, I've been reading this book, and her whole point is they're going to challenge you and probably even push you away. It feels like they're pushing you away to see if you will fight for me. Mm-hmm. And so I went back and sat with his dad and said, well, she said no. He was like, get back out there. Go ask her again.
Yeah.
Don't take no for an answer. And he's very different than I am in many ways. But he gave me some courage that day. We just told him this a few days ago. He's never heard this story. This
Wow.
is years ago. But I got back out there, and she let me dance with her. I think it was a little reluctant. But it was this message of Delaney and Adeline, every chance I get, you're worth fighting for. And I'm not going to settle at what your external voice is saying, which is get away from me, don't talk to me, go away. There's this little girl inside of you saying, Daddy, will you fight for me?
Yeah.
Am I worth it? And it's been such an amazing journey for me with my girls. It does something to me as a dad and as a man. I have to go find that thing and keep it on the surface.
Mm-hmm.
But it communicates the thing that every dad wants the little girl to hear.
Yeah.
You're worth it.
I love it. I mean, this is good for me just to hear this. Like, my daughter hasn't been to any dances yet, but I can see, now that you say it, I'm like, oh, I see where she will do that in the house. Just, she's frustrated about something. She'll kind of push me away with something. That, oh, are you going to come back and pursue me?
Yep.
When there's a misunderstanding or when I am mad at you. Like, oh, and I've seen, oh, yeah, that's what she's doing. I'm going to keep it for me when she's older.
Well, I think
no, you
even
can't dance with me.
your story that you talked about with the boys kind of violating her bedroom and you being the covering for her, it's another one of those moments of, okay, it just confirms my worth, my value. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And we only have one other boy in the house, Lincoln, but he did do this thing for his older sister, Adeline, just a couple years older than him, that just put on display that he's doing a good job becoming a young man. And I love that it also just encouraged his sister there's another man that's telling me this same thing. They get it obviously from my dad, and even my brothers are so encouraging.
Yeah.
And all the other men around them, but in the house it sees you every day, So she got made fun of, said that she was not very pretty when she doesn't get herself dressed up and in a dress and makeup and hair. And Adeline's pretty confident and pretty direct. And she says, when have you ever seen me in that? And he called her a donkey face or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, she kind of thought it was funny, but she came and told Lincoln about it. And they share an iPad account. And so he has access to this kid that had communicated that. So Lincoln goes and FaceTimes this kid that he's maybe met one time.
That kid probably thought it was Adeline calling him.
Probably.
Answers it.
And
Sly.
Lincoln is there, and he said, don't you ever call my sister donkey face again.
Or I'll kick your face like a donkey.
No,
with my
he didn't say-
taekwondo.
He said, because otherwise you'll regret it. And then he hung up on him. I was shocked that he did that. But what I loved was watching Adeline's face as he would tell us the story.
Totally.
I mean, I loved it for Lincoln in so many places. But I loved it for Adeline because it was just this thing of seeing this truth, which is you don't ever deserve to be treated this way.
Yeah.
And when Lainey was dating somebody and it was not going well, Lincoln was so angry. And he was like, you deserve more. And so again, being able to have these other men that are going to say, which he's still a boy, but he's got this beautiful heart that's, developing into a young man. But it does something for these. It just builds confidence for them to hold their ground on the treasure that they are.
Yeah. Yep.
And that they should be protected, fought for. They are not this thing that should be tossed about or used. And, we've talked a lot with our girls about, boys are more physical, girls are more emotional. And what happens when you try and meet the needs, and typically girls give away the physical because they just want the emotional piece met, but it's not usually even met.
Yeah.
And so really just helping them understand, the value of their body, the value of, all the things that they need to protect, their hearts. I mean, there's just so many aspects to this, I think, that a father can speak into. Yeah. And it's hard as a mother, because I think if you just praise your daughter for being beautiful and all these things, there's this thing of vanity that will set in. And so as moms, I think you're needing to be aware that I am praising your character that you're developing, and praising the identity that you're pursuing in Christ, rather than the beauty that's on the outward appearance. Sure, I tell my girls are beautiful, but I focus more on the inside piece, because that's what's going to keep their heart protected.
Which you do really well. And I love watching our girls come to you and kind of bring their inner turmoil, like, Mom, how do I sort through this stuff as a young woman? And just watching the interactions that I get to be in the front row of is just amazing. So
in our bed, when they won't get out of bed at 10 o'clock at night, I'm like, I love you.
There's that too.
Can we have this at like 9 in the morning? Hey parents, let's be real. As every parent from the beginning of time has discovered, kids don't come with a manual. Parenting is a learning journey from the beginning to end. And like all learning journeys, it's full of lessons, challenges, questions, mistakes, and messes. One of the biggest reasons so many of us get scared, discouraged, frustrated, and overwhelmed as a parent is we think the goal of parenting is to become perfect parents who raise perfect children, which leads us to adopt the fear-driven strategies that focus on avoiding mistakes and messes, and we use control and punishment to change behavior. I wrote a book called Imperfect Parenting, where I explain the true goal of parenting, a safe, loving, heart-to-heart connection with our kids. Pursuing the goal of connection is what sets us up to influence the hearts, minds, and behavior of our children as we guide them on their own learning journey to becoming healthy, confident, and emotionally intelligent. This book will give you the tools you need to lay down the goal of perfection and become fully engaged in your journey of building a healthy, connected family culture where your children can thrive. You can find Imperfect Parenting by going to www.lovingonpurpose.com and clicking store. That's www.lovingonpurpose.com and click store.
It's interesting to watch my daughter come to me for certain things and go to mom for certain things, and to see that and to know when it's like, oh, this is a mom thing. You need mom. And I don't feel like I have pressure to try to go talk to her about certain things. Like, no, she goes to mom. I love that. That was going to be my question. Like, oh, we're talking a lot about dads and what girls need from dads and raising young women as dads. I was going to go, well, what about moms? Like, how do moms contribute to this? Especially because probably, too, we do have a lot of people listening that may be single moms with girls, and they're like, how can I, what's my role? How can I help with this?
I love asking our kids, who do you want to be? Not what do you want to do? Who do you want to be? Especially, I mean, like Lainey right now, she's just searching for where's she going to go next. And it's less about what school or profession. Sure, you've got to figure that out. But who do you want to be when you become an adult? Who do you want to be, honey? What do you want to bring to this world? What are your gifts that you see? And I love to encourage her in what I naturally see she's so great at. And, you have a gift that I don't have. and I won't ever be able to probably relate to you, but I have high value for it. So how does that get to be put on display? And I love to, and same with Adeline, you know, we just encouraging them in who they are and the natural bend and gifts and talents that they have. And, you know, I remember this moment with Adeline. Again, she's the youngest one in her group, or one of the younger ones. And, you know, all the girls, that's the hard part. I don't know about boys, how development status quo, how you line it up to.
We have that.
I don't really know. I just know
the hair under my arms hasn't grown yet, and all my friends have hairy arms and legs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, something like that. That's totally what girls are thinking. But, you know, and I just, the thing that I remember sitting with her in, and I shared kind of briefly about this, was she was being critical of herself. Mm-hmm. And I just sat with her and I said, you know, the way you speak about yourself now will either increase in a positive or a negative. But you have to develop a habit of what you're going to practice right now. I said, otherwise, you're going to spend your whole life chasing away the negative, trying to find the positive. Mm-hmm. I said, and I love you too much to let you settle for the negative. So what are you going to do to protect your mind, because it wants to be really mean to you?
Yeah.
And what does the Lord say about you, Addie? And so, I mean, that's kind of because women do. We just are so critical about, and I think the world has made it even harder for us, because there's just what you should look like, what you should dress like. All these things are really loud, and all the different ads and everything that's out there, that these young girls are, if I'm not that, then what am I? Yeah. And so just kind of, I think fathers affirm the beauty piece, and mothers affirm the character piece. And together, I think in unity, we get to confirm their identity piece, and bringing them back to the Father. But paying attention to, like,
that's so good.
Ben's got to speak to her like, you're beautiful, you're desirable, I'm going to fight for you, because that's what we want her to find. Mm-hmm. I want her to find friends that are like, I love who you are, I love your character, I love your heart, I love your passion. I want you to feel alive around those friends, which is what I'm going to mirror.
Yeah.
And
that's such a good key, that mothers actually help shut down and quiet the critical voice in young women.
Which means mothers got to pay attention.
We're back here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just like fathers have to pay attention, I think mothers have to pay attention. And, you know, I this is a struggle for me. I got this clothing box the other day, and I was filming it, trying to say, maybe I'll advertise that I got this. This could be fun. Adeline, who's my little influencer, you know, she's going to take Ashley's job, I think, branding Loving on Purpose at some point. But she's giving me tips. She's like, you're not supposed to say it like that. Because I said, this is ugly. This doesn't fit. This looks weird. And she goes, you're supposed to say, this isn't the right cut for me, but I love it for somebody else. And I was just laughing that here's Adeline trying to tell me it may not look how it's supposed to on you, but it doesn't mean it's not good. I was just laughing. So then I got some more clothes from somewhere else, and I put it on. And I was very aware of how I was talking. And so I was trying the shirt on, and she's like, oh, I love it. And so we were dancing around in my room, just being silly. But I think that's the, you know, culture. Whatever your body shape is, whatever season of health that you're in, or whatever it is you're going for, if I speak negatively all the time about myself, why would I expect my girls to do anything different?
Can I ask a random question?
No.
Straight off the top of my head, with something I see strange about this in society right now. And it's totally off the cuff, so
okay. Love
we'll
it.
see
Go
what
for
happens.
It.
Okay, so it used to be all the advertisements, all the promotions, all the things aimed at women were perfectly skinny, fit, sexy, lean, and skinny is sexy. And now it's almost turned to overweight is healthy, overweight is beautiful, and it's like this. I won't say anything negative about myself. If I'm a little overweight, and I'm not a girl, but if I'm a little overweight and I don't look like that skinny model, I'm no longer going to beat myself up, but it looks like it's begun moving towards, it's healthy and it's good to be super plus size.
Yeah.
Like,
150 pounds overweight.
150 pounds overweight, not 20 pounds, 30 pounds. Like,
Yeah.
hey, we're working stuff out. I'm working out. We're all in that boat. All of us. Like I could lose a little bit of this belly, right? We're all there. But I'm not. I think it's interesting to go. Oh,
it's part of the conversation.
Young women used to beat themselves up because they didn't look as good as the super skinny model. But now, whoa, you're embracing something also very unhealthy.
Yeah.
It
That's
just
really
swings from
easy.
one side
It
to the
swings
other.
from one side to the other. So with that context of hey, yeah, we're not going to beat ourselves up. And at the same time, hey, if you're getting that big and that unhealthy, we're not going to call it healthy. And we're not going to say
Sure.
we want to help. But that's some of the stuff we've been talking about, feedback, community, talking about things. You got something in your teeth, that kind I don't know. I don't
Figuratively, he pointed at me, by the way.
I'm trying to, because that's what we were talking about earlier.
I
a few
think
months ago.
Yeah.
The goal should never be that you're skinny. I think the goal should always be that you're healthy.
Yeah.
So if you're honest with yourself, I don't know that our bodies, I haven't ever heard a doctor say that being 150 pounds over the recommended weight, that's a healthy weight, that you feel good, is healthy.
Right.
But I can't speak for anyone but my own body shape. So I know where healthy is, and I also know when I'm at that weight and I'm not healthy. I think healthy is, I am able to move. I'm able to keep up with my kid. Those are big indicators for me of healthy.
Energy level.
Is my energy level. Can I play outside with my kids, or am I just sitting in the chair?
Yeah.
I think the way that I always laugh that when I'm trying to fit into something that clearly doesn't fit me, why is that? Is it because I want to be smaller, but I'm unwilling to do the work? That's an indicator for me. Okay, I don't want to let go of these pants, but they clearly don't really fit me.
Yeah.
Why is that? I want to be in those pants.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what do I need? What do I need? And I just had this conversation with our coworker. He does fitness. I mean, I call him the big guy in the back. He loves it. He thinks that he loves fitness.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I've gone on so many different health journeys, and the last one that I was on, and I started it because I hated who I was. I couldn't find anything in there of Brittney that I really loved, which is really hard to lead young girls because I feel like I'm lying to them when I put on anything and they go, "You're beautiful." My first thought is, "No, I'm not."
Yeah.
And that led to a season of depression for me, which was really hard for our whole family. We were homeschooling, and so here I am, I don't love me. I was just talking to him because I'm like, okay, I want to get moving. Movement for me and being able to move and have energy is a really big indicator of how I feel good.
Yeah.
I sleep better, all the things.
Yeah.
So I was talking to him. I said, I need help, but I don't hate myself this time.
Yeah.
And I said, but I know that I'm not being my best self. So I think, again, my girls are night and day difference as far as body styles.
Mm-hmm.
Night and day.
They're my sisters.
They are.
Over again. Yeah.
And so if I tried to teach them that skinny is a goal or
Yes.
being 150 pounds is okay is the
And
goal.
just letting everything go.
Yeah, and not being present with what your body needs, then I'm going to wait in a war that I'm never going to win. I
this
talk
is
about,
really good.
Such a good conversation.
what does healthy look like?
yeah.
What does healthy feel like? What does healthy look like? What you're eating, your energy level, all these things. So, that's the conversation that we go back and forth with my girls, and it looks very different, but I think it's what is your energy level? What's your mindset? Because one daughter I know when she's not doing well.
Mm-hmm.
And I know when I can see that she's struggling with her weight, and I'm never, ever going to go over there and be like, all right, honey,
Right.
I've noticed that you've put on, never,
Never.
ever.
Nope.
I'm going to ask her questions on how you doing on the inside?
Yeah.
How's your heart doing? How's your mind doing?
Yeah.
And
Those are my questions.
It's a different way to really describe what you're saying based on Seth's question, that we're actually helping to redefine success. Because success probably used to be, I'm not successful as a woman
unless
I'm that
super skinny model.
And now it's turned to success is I don't care. I mean, and this
Everything
is
is
two
great.
ends of the
Everything
spectrum.
is
So not everyone's like
yeah.
this, obviously.
No.
We have
Right.
some great women around us.
But I think that's what culture does is go two ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
And none of the girls feel good enough,
Yeah.
healthy enough, feel right. It's like,
So
oh
what's
yeah, you have a
success to
certain
you?
body shape. Like you are not good enough here,
Yeah.
but this is moving you towards more and more unhealth. But then
I think that there are some really beautiful things that have come out of, some of the vulnerability that women are more willing to share than I am.
Sure.
But they'll say their height, their weight, and their pant size. And then you look at them and go, I'm two of those things, but we look completely different. Okay. Or, so it's there's just comparison goes crazy for women. I don't know what it is for men, but comparison is loud for ladies. And I think the best way to quiet comparison is actually to love yourself and love your creator, which the hardest part in all of that is probably first to love yourself. And so that's what I mean. I did all this because I didn't love myself. The results didn't stay.
weren't good. Yeah.
The only times the results ever stayed was when I loved myself and said, you know what? I want to be the best version of me, which is always what I ask my girls. I don't want you to be her. I don't want you to be her. I want you to be the best version of you. So what does that look like? You tell me. And then we go through all these different areas and they identify what the best version of themselves is. And then I get to go in and assist.
So great.
Yeah.
Such a good conversation.
I'm glad I was like, I just have this idea because,
I don't know that I'm giving the perfect answer. That's just my perspective.
It's good to hear the process. And I
Yeah.
think, I know there's moms that have done like, what do you just gain 20 pounds? What do you, like,
Sure.
and their girls are like,
There's-
destroyed on the inside.
And I think those are probably moms that are, some of those, again, we're generalizing everything, but some of those they've got their own issue around image and their own unsettling about value. And, I growing up as a young girl, I was much more of a tomboy. I was totally a tomboy. I had guy friends. I wore jeans and sneakers and plain t-shirts. I mean, I was as tomboy as I get. All my girlfriends that I did have were
super girly.
super girly, two pieces. I was wearing a t-shirt or shorts if I could and a t-shirt. And then Ben shows up and he's interested in me and I'm really confused as to how we got here. Because I'm like, do you realize I'm hiding all of my assets on purpose? Did you realize that,
Assets.
All the
He's like, I'm trying to find them. Man.
But I think the difference is there. I wasn't sure what to do with my body, where I'm trying to learn how to help my girls figure out what to do with their bodies in a healthy way.
And this is what young girls are encountering every day
All the
in
time.
society, on screens,
Everywhere.
on movies, everywhere they turn.
Yeah.
They're encountering this. So this is such an important conversation. And again, if shame's attached to it, that needs to go away.
Yeah.
I would just say go back to do it because you love yourself.
Yeah.
So that you can lead your girls.
Yeah, and energy and movement. I think that's a huge deal, yeah. Mobility, energy is a massive factor.
I love seeing the
great.
top of the mountain, which means that I have to be able to get to the top of the
hike,
mountain.
yeah.
I might not look like all the same hikers, but as long as I am able to get there,
Come on.
all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
So
I love
Awesome.
it. I'm glad I asked that question because I was like,
Me too.
It's cool to hear your process with your girls, especially because they're so different as
They
well.
are
Like
so
they're so
different.
different. And I only have one girl, so I'm like, I only have one. But
I actually sat in a conversation recently where one of the girls said, "I'm nothing like my sister."
yeah,
And I watched Brittney shut it down quickly and say, "That's never been the goal.
yeah,
That is not the goal here."
yeah, and I
But
think
just
that's
everything you said.
really good to. I mean, she even says it to me. I'm never gonna. I can't be like, you're perfect. I said, oh baby, let's debunk that real
This is
fast.
called imperfect parenting.
Yeah, on purpose. I wrote a
Imperfect
whole book
womaning.
about it. So, yeah, I think moms and dads are needed in their children's lives. We all have valuable roles to play to fathers and sons and mothers and sons. And
That's right.
mothers and daughters and fathers and daughters. So don't be afraid to jump in there, I think is the big thing.
So good. You guys are
I
awesome.
love it.
Awesome.
This is great.
We
was a
love
good
our
one.
young girls.
Yes, amazing girls.
Such a
All right.
good conversation.
Yep.
All right.
We'll see you guys next time. I'll see you in a month. You guys will
Till then.
see Ben and Brittney next week.